what's great about that is, like, what I was excited about Cheryl on, is she has a client who buys a $500,000 house. Well, she gets the commission on selling the house. She gets the mortgage on the house, 95% probably. So about $500,000. Then if they were going to be cash buyers, she could take the money they were going to use for the cash that they're going to buy the house with, invest that money. That's $500,000. So she ends up with 3 times the business, and there are a lot of cash buyers right now. So, and I was talking to a guy. I had my land. Just when you come out Allen Road at the end where 19 comes, there's a big piece of really big piece of property. Forever, it's known as Green Acres. The Greens owned it, and it was like a bunch of land. And they had a for sale sign out there the other day. And I thought, wow. Let me tell you, I'd love to own that land. I would love to. So I called the guy because it's a big, really pretty piece of property, and it borders the Flint River. So a lot of it is just sitting right up against the river. I asked him how many acres to sell. He said 1,101 acres is what he's got listed. They still, the family owns some of that, more of that. I think they own like over 4,000 on it. And he said that 1,101 acres are for sale. And I said, how much an acre? And he said 4,300, which I was shocked at. And I said, I'm an advisor, and I've been telling my clients for years that, I always say, all my clients want to own 20 acres in a pond. 20 acres in a pond. And he said, I always told my clients to buy 100, 200 acres, take the 20 acres I want to keep, sell the 100 acres, make money. He said, that's not the case anymore. He said, we have more and more clients buying 1,000+ tracts of land. He said, or a lot of acreage. They're buying lots of acreage, hundreds of acres at a time. And he said, I got 1,800 acres across in Taylor County, which is not as good a county as Upson, for over 5,000 acres. He said the land prices are going up, people are buying, and there's a lot of people from other states that are buying. And there's a lot of people like where I live. See, if you look at the map, I live directly west of Macon and directly south of Thomaston. He said a lot of people are leaving Macon City and going west. Okay. And they're buying that where we are. Oh, okay. So, and then I remember, when I bought that land, I had in my brain that I was going to stay ahead of the traffic and the growth for 15 or 20 years. Yep. And I forgot it's already been 21 years. Oh, wow. It's caught up with me. It's here now. It's coming. So I could sell my land for a lot more than I thought. Yeah. But if somebody comes with enough money, it'll be sold. Yeah.
Where you go here if you sell your land? So if somebody come with enough money,
we had to add $3 million.
I'm saying, would you still live in Thomaston? You love that area? Would you go to Texas? If somebody gave you?
I tell you, I have a client that lives in Warrenton, Georgia. He's my wealthiest client.
I would move that area.
But that area's I asked him about that too. He said that area's going up and back. Yeah. So I don't even know of a place in Georgia where, I guess you go extreme southwest down towards Blakely and all that. Okay. Probably be the cheapest place to buy land. Yeah. We'll go down. I looked at 1,000 acres in Schley County before I bought my land.
What county?
Schley.
What is that?
It's just.
Heard that.
It's just Rootville. I don't know if you heard of Rootville. Rootville is in Schley County.
A lot of lawnmower parks come from there.
It's in a little county. Matter of fact, it was 1,000 acres, and you can see the 1,000 acres on the map. It was $1,000 an acre when I was looking at it, which is $1 million. But I bought my land for $2,000 an acre. But it's worth. I was thinking it's only worth 4, but it's probably worth closer to 5 now.
Across the top bar here, you got POL home, my POL, competition, training, development, life licensing, securities licensing. You just come down here and where it says get your securities license, and really you just follow the steps. When you pass the test, they will reimburse you.
Michelle, also when you go to Kaplan, you're gonna see a price for the study material, but at the end, the checkout is gonna be zero.
The CEOs were saying, well, we're not just life insurance companies, we're investment companies.
Right.
And that's when they began offering a securities license for free.
You know, Primerica stock in 2010, when we went public, was $15 a share. Now it's well over $260 a share. Not only have we done well, but I was wondering, why is their stock doing so well? Primerica, the corporation, is buying its own stock back as much as it can. Mm-hmm. So that's what's forcing the price up, is there's less shares being traded. Morningstar.com, ASIAX. So in at 0.47.
Mm-hmm.
What's that for the year? Where is it for the year?
19.34 for the year.
It probably has gone up recently.
Oh yeah, good.
And what's happening is China was in a really bad spot financially. So what China did, they always said they're communists, but they're the best capitalists.
Mm-hmm.
Capitalists make sometimes communists make some of the best capitalists. So what they did is they took a playbook from the U.S. and they threw in $1 trillion of liquidity in the economy. That's what we do. Mm-hmm. That's what the United States does. Mm-hmm. And so it's kicking. It's going to make the Chinese economy do well. It's like a sugar high. It'll do well for a little while. So that's why Asian stocks are going to start going up a little bit. And you might want to have some money in Asian stocks right now for a little bit, but not forever. You got to watch it like a hawk, because that sugar high is going to come off, and when it does, it's going to go the other direction. Because I predict there'll be in 100 years recession, just like Japan was in a 40-year recession, 30-year recession.
Here, you remember that small cap, that SMDAX?
Yeah, small caps are actually, pull that one up.
Yes.
Small caps are actually doing really well this year. I like VVOAX. It's up 22%.
Pretty good year.
Yeah. Look, I'll tell you another one that's doing well. Look at PMAW, ACIX.
Okay, good.
It's up 11 point whatever.
6 to 1.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I think it'll do even better between now and the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So large cap value is doing really well. Small cap value, VSCAX. Go down. If there's too much money in a fund, and the fund manager doesn't think he can buy stocks to stay in that grouping, he'll close it.
19.69.
Yeah, it's up nearly 20%. Mm-hmm. It's in the 1 percentile.
There are pretty strict rules for diversified mutual funds. You can do whatever you want, the top 20%, the bottom 80%. You cannot have more than 20% of your money in any single fund. And you're not allowed to own more than 10% of any company. Right? And so, without changing some of their or parameters, sometimes it gets so big they can't. They should stop.
What's good about Invesco, they are they'll do that. Other companies like American funds won't do that. So that's what's good about Invesco. They'll stay inside their lane with their particulars. If it's called a value fund, it's a value fund.
Michelle, we have platform funds where it's basically one-stop shop. Just primary paperwork, we're good. Everything else, we have to do twice as much paperwork.
You got to do our forms and their forms for everything.
And American funds is one of those. I used to do American funds. One thing I realized, they don't perform that much better than what I got.
Well, I don't like that they don't have a lot of diversity, because I'm all about DEI.
Mm-hmm.
No, so the American funds, Washington Mutual, the one we talked about, the
income.
Yeah,
ICA
guy, the fundamental investor.
Mm-hmm.
They have about 3 or 4, and they're basically the same fund with 3 different things. For years and years and years, I had Lowell Jackson.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Lowell Jackson. If it wasn't for Lowell Jackson, I wouldn't be where I am. Because Lowell Jackson took me under his wing. They taught me about how to present mutual funds, how to communicate mutual funds, how to do all this. He was a very good guy. And then they Invesco saved money. Yeah. So they got rid of all the guys that were good at what they did, and they got a bunch of young guys. I liked that you used to teach us about story selling.
Yes.
So you have to teach them story selling, I said, you need to teach them how to tell people about their background, where they come from. The other thing y'all did that I really liked is teaching us how when we go outside somebody's house, we know who we're dealing with. I walk in their house, and if I see a wall, the main wall in their living room, and it has pictures of every family member on it, they're what's called belongers. And belongers are very patriotic. They are all about the family. And if you can tie what you're doing, not only that will take care of them, but will change their family tree, they're all about that. Then, but what if you walk in a house where there's not a human face on the wall? There's landscapes and books.
They analyze.
Well, they're analyzers. And so they're more intellectual. And so I have to go on one more appointment with an analyzer than I do everybody else. Because analyzers don't want to be duped. That's their biggest fear, to be duped. When I get, normally with someone that's not an analyzer, I will have closed business. But on that second appointment, I'll give them homework. That's how I get along I get past them. So what I'll say, okay, this is what I think you should do. I need you to research all this and look at it as much as possible. When I come back to see you next week, I'm going to answer any of the questions you have about any of the things I recommended. If you do it that way, you can do business with them. But you can't, instead of taking one extra appointment. But the good news about doing business with analyzers is all their friends know they're hard to sell. So their friends will recommend you. They know if you do business with them, their friends will do. So they're a great source of referrals. So I just told him he needed to teach us. I said, I really liked that we got to learn, number one, who we were. And we got to learn how we could act with the different personality types. So we knew what we had to do to be successful. Did you remember that story that Lowell Jackson taught me called What's Better Than Guaranteed? Let's talk about what's better than guaranteed. And to my left-hand side, I have two Asian neighbors on each side, one on each side of me. And the lady that lives on my left side is Miss Luz. So Miss Luz, she has $100,000. And she is going to invest $100,000 for 20 years at a guaranteed 8%. So, and then remember, the thing is, what's better than a guarantee? The Asian guy on my other side, Mr. Lousy Diversifier, he's got $100,000 also. But what he's going to do is he's going to divide his 100,000 into 5 even pieces, and it's also going to be invested for 20 years. So he takes one of the $20,000, he invests it, and after 20 years, that $20,000 is worth zero. He lost everything. He has another $20,000. He invested $20,000, and over that 20-year period, he made a 0% return. So after 20 years, he still had $20,000. He didn't make a penny on it. So he had another $20,000 that over that 20-year period got 7.5% return. Pretty good, right? But still less than Miss Luz. So then he had another $20,000. That $20,000 over that 20-year period averaged 12%. And his last $20,000 did even better than that. It averaged 15%. Miss Luz had $100,000, 20 years, 8% fixed, guaranteed. Mr. Lau had lost $20,000, another $20,000 made $0, another $20,000 made 7.5%, another $20 made 12, and another $20 made 15. Which one there was more money, Mr. Lau or Mr. Luz? So the answer to the question, what's better than a guarantee? Diversification. But where people want to put all the money in CDs, for example, or a variable annuity or something like that, and they think they want a guarantee. In reality, so let's get our HP-12Cs out and do the math. So let's find out how much Miss Luz ends up with. $100,000, 8%, 20 years.
466, 09571.
Yep. So it's $466,000, 095.71. Okay, so that's Miss Luz's amount of money, right? The first $20,000 she lost it all, so that's zero. The second $20,000 it's only worth $20,000. The third $20,000 makes a 7.5% return. 84,957.02. Next one, Miss Lou's got a 12% return. So all you have to do is change the 7.5 to 12. 1, 2, I, FE, and you get the total there. So we get one, what do you get? And then the last one, we do 15, I. So then we add them all up. So who ended up with more money? Mr. Lau or Miss Lou's? How much money did Mr. Lau end up with? Like if you get 20,000, you push enter. Then you go the next one, which is 84,957.02. You push 84,957.02 plus. Okay, so what's the answer?
625 to 1363.
625 what?
To 1363.
Okay. So how much more money does Mr. Lau have than Miss Lou's?
$159,117.92.
That's right.
That's right. So what does this tell us about diversification versus guarantees? The first 20,000 is gone. That's everybody's nightmare, right?
Yeah,
To lose all their money.
Yeah.
The second 20,000 doesn't make a penny for 20 years. Third makes money, but less money than the Miss Lau gets. It's only the top 40%, only 40% of her money makes more than the 8%. And it blows away what she has at the end. So so the client that worries about and calls you when their funds goes down in value, that's all right. Because in the end, they're gonna make more money by being diversified.
I see a guy.
Everybody ought to read Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
Robert Kiyosaki. He spends his time arranging deals. And he says if he does 5 a year, he knows at least one of them is going to go bust.
I like this one.
Which one is he?
You know, I like about Mr. Lurkle because he's very direct and he tells it like it is. And I like that he's audacious enough to have a name like Mr. Lurkle. Well, I like Mr. Lurkle because he's very smart. Number one, he's very smart.
Yes.
He's a very good businessman.
Yes.
The ACGIX, which is the Invesco Growth and Income Fund,
Yeah.
is a large cap value. So is Comstock. Comstock can do better than that. It is.
Okay.
So I would just Comstock instead.
Okay.
I've been using AMHYX. When tax free is ACTHX. Never give a bear quote. If you do that, you're guaranteed not to get that business. They're going to find somebody out there that's going to sell it to them for $50.
That's right.
So Michelle Worth, is the contact. So you add her. Now you're going to go, I think, you get a QQ.
Yep.
QQ, quick quote. Name. Then you can go to open, quick quote 3.0. So you can do quick quote for a contact, and quick quote for existing policy, meaning you're going to add coverage to an existing client. So in this case, we're doing quick quote, and we're going to do quote for contact, because you're the contact.
Wow.
Need a birthday for you, darling.
You want to put as much information, so you want to at least get their phone number, probably the cell phone number, and their email address. So what's your phone number? Okay, so now, so let's look, we're in the state of Georgia, tobacco use or non-tobacco use, and in this case, no. Now we got power term, click on that. You can see when he clicks on the down here, you want to ask, do you like power or precision?
I don't know.
Power, you don't have to do blood work to sit.
Okay, so let's do a power quote.
Sure.
All right,
You got it.
let's do a power quote. Okay, and we're going to see right here, the default here, amount of years is 35 years. So you have somebody come up to you that wants $100,000 coverage, put $100,000. So you just put 100 in there. And then it auto defaults to non-tobacco, 35-year, power term, class 4. Go down. Class 4, what power term is, you will have a number of clients that are afraid of needles. Don't want to have blood drawn or anything. So no blood, no urine. And but how they find out how they underwrite it is they pull up their medical background, their driving background. They pull up your DMV, your medical, MID,
It's not Men in Black in this case, it's Medical Information Bureau,
And
which
which will also pull up their prescription medications they pay.
Mhm.
And it'll give them a rate. So 64.59. The same person, switch it to precision term.
Now, precision, we
Is this
cannot
term
do,
insurance?
It's all term. Everything we do is term. 100%.
precision term will not go down as low as 100.
Oh yeah. So let's go back to power term
Yes, sir.
and switch it to 150. So we can get apples to apples. So we'll do apples to apples first. So 150, it's, what is that?
63.42.
Okay, so 63.42, and that's another thing. Okay, the amount of coverage you hit, certain coverage amounts will hit a break point where the cost per thousand goes down. Back when we had regular two, these are cheap. So the more coverage you get, the lower the cost per thousand is. 63.43. So now we're going to change it from power term to precision term.
Possible that you got a policy issued in 90 seconds.
So you can see here that it was $20 a month, basically close to $20 a month, or $18 a month cheaper, right? First question is, one of the questions you want to ask is, how much money do you have put back in your 401k so far? Why would that have anything to do with life insurance? It's money they can draw from if he were to pass away, right? So it reduces what he really needs in life insurance. So let's say he has $100,000 in his 401k. And let's say he has two small children, a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old. If he dies, what happens? If he's the main income earner and he has a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old, how will that help? Social Security. They'll get $800 to $1,000 a month each. So I always err on the smaller number. So
And that's for Social Security.
yeah, until they turn 18. The day they turn 18 stops. Okay, so we'll say $1,600 a month that they're going to get from Social Security. There's $100,000 in 401k, right? She can pull 5% a year off that, which is about $400 a month. So she's got $2,000 a month she can get from income he's not producing anymore. But she's still $3,000 short of what they need to live off. Because most everybody lives off everything they make, especially if you're making $50,000 a year. So you take 30,000, 2,500 a month.
I take, what is the number?
30,000 is 2,500 a month. 240 times. 240 times. What do you get?
600,000.
That's how much life insurance he needs. Because if he were to die, she would get the 600,000. She invested it. She could take 5% a year off of that, which would be 2,500 a month. And it lasts forever. So that's why you don't want to give a better quote. Because most people think they need $100,000 or $250,000 of coverage. The sad thing is, a lot of insurance agents, that's what they're going to sell them.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if one of these people die, let's say they say, oh, I need $250,000 coverage, and you sell a $250,000 policy, and he dies. That money will not last for any amount of time. She'll be broke. Most widows are broke in 7 to 8 years. Because they didn't, the person working with them didn't take the time to help. So now your client is going to think, wow, I don't need $600,000 of coverage because they think that's a lot of coverage.
Mm-hmm.
But when you show them, then you're going to take that money, you're going to show how they can invest it and what they can pull off of it, and that's what they need. So, but we're going to show them how to get the $600,000. You remember they got a 5-year-old and an 8-year-old, right? So that's going to come into play. So now let's go back to the quotes. How old is the youngest child? 5. So how many years until that 5-year-old is independent? What age? You got at least 20 years until this child is independent. So we know now that that client needs $600,000, but they don't need $600,000 for 35 years. He also has $100,000 in his 401k, and he's putting money in it. That $100,000 is going to be worth more money down the road. So we're going to break it up. So what we can do is we can do what's called customized coverage. Okay, so go back to the top. See where it says 35 a year right here?
Yes.
He's going to click this little down arrow right here.
Oh, is that where you change it to?
Yep. So now it's going to give us choices. Okay.
So put in
So the longest amount of time we need coverage for is either 20, maybe 25 years. So we're gonna go, let's put some of it for 20 years, 25 years. Okay. So we're gonna put, and he needs 600,000. Let's put 100,000 for 25 years. Okay, now we're gonna add plan, go 20 year, click here. The bulk of the coverage is gonna be 20 years. So let's make that 300,000. So that's 400,000, right? So we're gonna add, and then we'll add the other 200,000 for 15 years.
So is that like kids and life, the two kids?
Well, because hopefully by then, the 15-year-old, the 8-year-old will be 23 for 15 years.
Okay, so that's the 600,000.
So 600,000 total, right? Plus is 7,650, right? For the whole amount. Whereas if, let's say you did what most agents did and just sell one mass amount. So put that in the trash can, make that 600,000. It's 9142. Okay, so you customize it to what they need, and the objective, go back to what we had it before. So we're gonna go 100,000, 20 year, 300,000, and then we go 200,000, 15 year. So what we would do, and then go to the, where's the page that shows the costs for each one of those? Go to the next page. So here's the way it works. 15 years down the road, well, what would have happened? Okay, so I do this for the client. So this $100,000 that's in the 401k, even makes a 10% return in 15 years, is worth $470,000. In 15 years, the 8-year-old has graduated college, 23, right? Not be married, out of the house. So now we can get rid of, this would come up for renewal, right? If you don't renew it, we get rid of it, let it go. So now our cost is not $76.50 a month, it's $55 a month. So we get rid of that. 5 years later, when the 8-year-old, the 5-year-old is out of the house, we get rid of that.
75.
So then all we do is we keep 100,000 for another 5 years, and then when it comes to renewal, we get rid of that. So the premiums go down over time, not up, because their wealth is building, and the reason I always tell my clients, the reason for life insurance is because you don't have any, because you have lack of money. If you had $1 million, what would you need a life insurance for? Policy for? But the reason it's a poor excuse for money. Okay, so the objective is to get you in a position where you don't need life insurance. You buy when you need it and get rid of it as soon as you possibly can. And the reason you need it is you have, where's the theory? Here's the theory, decreasing responsibility. So when you're in your 30s and 20s, okay, right, you typically at this point in your life, you have little kids, you bought your first house, you still have student loan debt, you got credit cards, you got car loans, you got all this crap. You got a lot of liabilities, low assets. You have hardly any money saved. Let's say you're 30. 20 years down the road, what's happened? Well, the kids are growing up. If you put money in your 401ks and retirement accounts and investment accounts, that money's starting to grow. And so your kids grow and leave the house, because by the time you're in your 60s, say the kids, they've killed off the kids here, okay, and they're happy, okay? So, but now they have, let's say they have a lot of money in retirement assets. They don't need any life insurance. So you're trying to get them from here to here. But they need life insurance here because they don't have any money. So we got to build their wealth so they can get rid of their life insurance.
On the left side, the risk is dying too soon.
Yeah.
That's when we get your life insurance policy. On the right side, your risk
Living too long.
is outliving money.
Yeah.
And at Primerica, we're going to take care of you on both ends.
Yeah, we're going to focus on getting you, that if you die too soon, you're covered. But we want to get to the point, because that's the thing that used to drive me nuts. Primerica's, a lot of Primerica agents, a lot of life insurance agents, focus too hard on the dying too soon part. Okay, because if you have 1,000 people that get a life insurance policy, that if I sell 1,000 policies, over the course of 20 years, I might have, so it means 980 are still here. And they're probably going to make the retirement age. Well, if all I focus on selling life insurance, I didn't prepare the 980 for retirement, they're gonna be screwed. Yeah, they were paying the higher, but if I did a $600,000 policy for 35 years or 25 years or whatever, a higher premium, that whole time, that reduces what they could be putting in an emergency fund or their investment account. So go back, that's ours, 7650. Let's say we did a straight 30-year policy all the way across. So it's $29. To take the $29 we're saving them, invest that, use your calculator. So 29 PMT, 0 PV, 12 blue GI, and then, 25 blue GN, FE. So the client would have over $54,000 in their investments if you just took that money that they would be paying for life insurance. Put in, yeah. We'd rather have $600,000 coverage or $55,000 in cash. And $55,000 cash. That's the other. Here's the one you have to watch the most. Are the ones that are weekend pilots. Oh, yeah.
Okay,
That's
those.
part of the
Fly the little Cessnas on the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the ones you have to watch.
Yeah.
They don't cover.
There, I remember watch,
Mm-hmm.
or aviation, suicide, hazardous occupations.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, but ours cover more. Our
Oh,
policies.
yes?
Yeah, we do.
We're one of the few insurers that
Okay,
cover
so I
more.
gotta get,
Yeah, so Primerica, there's only 2 insurance companies that will cover or more, New York Life, Primerica.
okay.
And public safety.
And then suicide, is it 2 years? The
Yeah.
study was-
And we'll assume the 2 years from the other company. So that's different too. So if they have another policy from State Farm and they've had it for 2 years and then they get the same coverage with us, same face amount, 2 days after they get the coverage, they commit suicide with us, we pay. Let's say your client, in this case, $600,000 coverage, gets diagnosed with terminal brain cancer, which is what I've had done twice. Okay, and they're doing the chemo and all this. They don't think it's going to work out. So the doctor has to say that a client has, and you got to play a word game with these doctors. You get them to say this, okay? That the client is not going to last 6 months. If they sign off saying that the client will not last more than 6 months, then the client can take 40% of the 600,000, 240,000 of it before they pass away. You call it terminal illness rider. They can take that 240,000 they pay for bills, they can go on the last vacation, they can do different things, and then when they die, then the difference goes. Then the difference will go to the beneficiary. Now, something a lot of people don't realize is when you get that 240,000, they do charge interest on that money.
So I didn't know that.
Do they consider a policy loan?
It's like a loan, yeah. Yeah, it's very low interest, but it was there.
So we do have cash value. It's not.
How about the slow down?
The interest is charged on what they take out.
Well, it's charged what they're gonna get later on down the road. It's not very, well, I mean, they're only last 6 months.
So I mean,
It's not very much, yeah.
We don't do waiver of premium in this office.
Let's talk about why this waiver premium
Yeah, this is good.
is you have to be disabled for 6 months and not been able to pay your premiums for 6 months before we pay. Well, the odds of that happening are very, very, very low. So, in my whole career, I've sold one.
You go to POL.
Hey, I'll open the door for you.
And you come over here to products, and the very first thing under products is life insurance. And when you click that, you got all of this stuff here. Webinars,
Okay.
quick links, products, training, practice applications, sales tools. There is so much really, really good stuff here. And I recommend that you spend
Yeah.
some time on this. We just changed over to a new policy, a new type of doing life insurance in the past couple of years. It's a wonderful thing. It works out usually being cheaper for our clients, not every time. But you saw class 1, 2, 3, 4. It goes down to 10.
Oh, okay.
And the higher the class, the cheaper your premium is going to be. And when you take an app for a woman, it defaults to class 4. because we live on it. So it's cheaper. When you take a policy for a man, it defaults to class 6.
Yeah.
And if the guy's in good health, like I had one, who he's in such good health that when they issued the policy at like class 3 or class 4, and he had $1 million policy, well, they made it $1.2 million.
And the higher the number,
The higher the number, the more expensive the insurance. If you are a smoker, you're going to be 10, 9 or 10.
You don't want to be
And we've never had a man yet to qualify for class 1. We've never had a woman yet to qualify for class 10. And it's important that the clients know that depending on how the underwriting goes, your insurance could actually be, you could end up in a better class or maybe even more.
Yeah, they'll give you the better rate.
Very, very often, the client will get more coverage for less money.